Hi friends, welcome to Stay Stitching. My name is Carla. So, it is Free Pattern Friday, and I hope you will forgive me. I'm really bored of Free Pattern Friday, you guys. It's boring doing the same video every single Friday. I still have like 400 patterns. It's not that I don't want to give you the patterns. I just don't want to film the exact same video every single Friday. However, and I don't think this is going to happen because I think a lot of you just stop by because you're kind and you're my friend and you just want to support me. But a lot of you don't need patterns either. And if you do want vintage patterns, you're looking for something kind of specific or in a specific style or in a specific size. And the chances of me, pulling out of those 5 patterns every Friday, the exact one that you're looking for are kind of slim. So I kind of don't want to do Free Pattern Friday anymore. However, if you guys really love it and you want me to continue, that will give me like the desire to go on. But I've been a little bit burnt out on it for 2 or 3 weeks now. I thought it was a great idea and I was really excited at the first, but I'm the type of person that just doing the same stuff over and over and over again is not fun for me. Maybe that's one of the reasons why I love teaching middle school. When people hear I'm a middle school teacher, and especially a special education middle school teacher, they're like, oh my gosh, I don't even like my own kids and they're in middle school. But the fun thing about teenagers is that they are never the same. I'm the same. Every day when I go in my classroom, I'm the same because I'm a somewhat stable grown-up. But teenagers are so different every single day, and I love them. Filming the exact same video every single Friday, I have not been loving. So I have a different video planned for today. It's more of a curvy sewing video, although it is useful to anyone, I think. If you want to stick around and watch the first few minutes and see if you think it is. If you're dying for me to continue Free Pattern Friday, then go ahead and put that in the comments section below. If you're totally cool with me letting it go, go ahead and put that in the comments section below as well. So what we're going to talk about today is books. I'm a nerd. I'm a bookworm. I've been a bookworm my entire life. I used to read under the covers with a flashlight and then, my parents got wise to that because, they weren't dumb people. And then, so my next thing was I would go in the bathroom and read. And my parents were very much into allowing us having our privacy. And so they wouldn't dream of like banging on the bathroom door and asking me what I was doing in there for so long when I was supposed to be sleeping. And so I would take my book into the bathroom and read. So anyway, of course, and I was an English teacher, a high school English teacher for most of my career. So of course, books are my jam. And whatever my favorite hobby is, I want to have books for that. So I have some cool sewing books. However, if you're a curvy sewer, then you know that a lot of those pattern books don't have a very wide size range in them. So I'm going to show you the books that I have and tell you exactly what the largest measurement is for each book. The sun is coming right in and stabbing me in the eye. So I have no idea what the lighting on this is going to be, but I'm going to go ahead and post it anyway. Troy's not here to, help me move around, and Wilson just very patiently got me all set up and moved the dirty dishes that were over there on the counter out of the way. So hopefully it looks like I have a clean kitchen back there. Not true, but we're going to talk about sewing today. You're, thank God, not here to judge me based on my housekeeping skills, which are non-existent. So let me start here. This book is called Boundless Style. It's a mix and match sewing pattern workbook by Christiane Booz of Victory Patterns. I believe Victory Patterns is a Canadian company. I'm not sure. I'm just kind of saying that off the top of my head. It doesn't come with paper patterns. It comes with the CD in the back of your printable PDF patterns. Now the concept of this book is that you get a whole chapter of bodices, a whole chapter of sleeves, and a whole chapter of skirts, which you can then mix and match. And there are some lovely, it's a beautiful book. You know, the pictures are beautiful. There's a skirt. You can, of course, make and another cool thing that this book does is it helps you realize that any skirt from any dress could be just a skirt, and that any bodice from any dress could be a top. And so it shows you like what kind of top to put on, like if you want to do a peplum bottom and just make a top, you can totally do that, and it walks you through that. I feel like the explanations in here, I know it's annoying, you're watching me flip through this and I'm not showing you anything. I'm trying to find where like here's an example of a peplum top. Okay, I feel like this book does a really good job of helping you think about patterns in a different way, which I believe will increase your sewing skills. And it has all the basics of, you know, what you need. Chapter 1 is getting started. Chapter 2 is tools. Chapter 3 is skills and techniques. 4 is bodices. 5 is sleeves. 6 is skirts. And 7 is putting it all together. All of the photographs are taken outside. The models are, of course, lovely. And it's just, I like the book. I think it's a nice book. I love all of the outside photography. I just think that they went the extra mile to go outside and shoot these dresses. And so I like this book. I have not made anything from this book. I got this book at a thrift store and the price on it is $4.99. I would have paid $5 for this, so I don't know if this was a half price day. I rather doubt it. I think I probably went ahead and paid $4.99 for it. The original American price is $32.99. So if you're a curvy girl, will you fit in here? Well, let me tell you. The largest size in this book is bust 44.5, waist 36.5, and hips 46.5. So this, I would have to grade up, not for the bodices, but for the skirts and the hips. A lot of things like this dress here, this is a free flowing over the hips. So is this one here. I wouldn't have to grade up for that, but I would have to grade up for the waist because my waist is not 36.5 inches. I wish it was. But anyway, it's still a beautiful book. The concept is fantastic. As long as it has its CD, if you can find it on Amazon used or something, it would be well worth buying. Okay, our next book, this is probably one of the 2 most famous books that I have here. This is Love at First Stitch. This is Tilly Wallen's first book. Tilly Wallen's first book. Demystifying Dressmaking. This is just an exquisite little book, okay? The primary thing that is awesome about this book is that it begins with the simplest of patterns and takes you through one step at a time, one garment at a time, and increases your sewing skills in order. That is a brilliant concept. That's one of the reasons why this might be the biggest selling sewing book of all time. I mean, I'm sure that I just have a gut feeling that this is the one that most people, if they have one sewing book with patterns, that this is going to be the one. The photography in here is absolutely stunning. Tilly looks adorable. And the design the, what am I trying to say? The layout and the colors of this book are immaculate. And by that, I mean, everything is perfect. It is all coordinated. It's just a beautiful, beautiful book. The projects in here, now I don't really dress 60s. It's never been a thing that I've enjoyed, that I've wanted to do, because I really feel like the 60s were a leg decade. And even at my thinnest, I don't have fantastic legs. I, always had big boobs, a small waist, and then, a big, not a big butt, but a butt. I was an hourglass. And so I just never felt like hourglass, that 60s fit my figure. But let's see, there's a favorite picture of mine in here that's just lovely. She looks beautiful in all the pictures, but like this is a lovely picture of her. This is the first project. It's a headscarf. There's another one of her in the headscarf. Every one of them is beautiful. Yeah, it's impeccable. The makeup is impeccable. The design sense is impeccable. The color coordination is impeccable. Every garment in here is either navy blue, yellow, red, or white. The entire book. And there's some black in here. But it is so cohesive. It's so beautifully designed. I cannot recommend it enough. If you were going to buy one book for a beginning seamstress, this is what I would recommend highly. The patterns are in the back. I don't even know if I've ever taken them out of here. Are they nestled? I've never made anything from this book. There went some of the patterns. I don't even know if they're nestled. They don't really look like it. No. Nope, they're not nestled. So you get each individual pattern. I guess I'll just throw the rest of that down there with the rest of them who are on the floor. Okay, so if you're a curvy girl, will you fit into this book? Let me tell you the measurements. Bust 44, waist 38, hips 37. So everything in here is pretty simple. So I don't feel like any of these would be especially hard to grade up. But those are the measurements. Bust 44, waist 38, hips 47. So the patterns in here are bigger than the patterns in Boundless Style. Okay? This is a gorgeous book. So was Boundless Style. I mean, but that Love at First Stitch is a tough act to follow. Tilly's branding is perfect. She nailed it. Absolutely nailed it. This is one of my favorite books. This is not a popular one. This is not a brand new one. This is not a trendy one. But I don't know why I love this book. It's called the Magic Pattern Book, not the Mattern Pagic book. But there's 6 different patterns. You make 36 different things. I've shown this in videos in the past. I just like this book. You have a basic garment, and like this is the dress. Okay, so for the dress chapter, you get 6 different patterns. The reason why I think this is a good book for increasing your sewing skills is because you print out the patterns and then it tells you, let me see if I can find one. The instructions in this book are incredible too. So, okay, I don't know if you're going to be able to see this, but do you see how this dress has really big sleeves? So what you have is you're going to print out the sleeve pattern, and then if you will look right here, it kind of shows you how to increase that pattern. And so it's familiarizing you with the whole manipulating your patterns, which some people like me who doesn't have my left brain side, the side that utilizes best all of the calculations and all of that stuff, is not my strong side. That's one of the reasons why sewing is so great for me, because it helps make my weak side stronger. Okay, so I feel like this book will help with that. Plus, it's got a really nice basic wardrobe. There's a tank top, there's a skirt, there's a dress, there's a cardigan, there's a coat, and then there's some accessories in the back. And each of those has 6 variations for it. And I think the variations are nice. So that's called the Magic Pattern book. And it also comes with a CD that you use to print out your patterns. So I really like this book. This is by Amy Barrickman. She's the founder of Indigo Junction. I think she does mostly crafty stuff, and I don't know, maybe stuffed toys, all that kind of quilty stuff. I do have one of her patterns. It's for a wrap that is super simple to make. I need to make that sometime. Yeah, it's a cute pattern. So there's that one. What are the measurements in the Magic Pattern book? Now these are finished measurements for this one, because I went for the biggest I could get. Bust 45.5, waist 35.5, and hips 51.5 for dresses, I guess the dresses, and 49.5 for the skirts. So that one is slightly, now it's smaller in the waist, but it's bigger in the bust and the hips than the other two. So that one is slightly bigger. And I have made one of the tank tops from that, and I love it. It's the only garment I've made from that, and I love it. Okay, the next one. This is the only book that I think that is available right now that could give the Love at First Stitch, Tilly's book, a run for its money in terms of popularity. Well, no, there's a couple other ones. But this is also a book that could give the Tilly book a run for its money in terms of cohesiveness and beauty. This one only has, I think, 5 patterns in it. It's a great teaching book. It goes through, and Colette Patterns, what is known as a teaching company. It has, let's see here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 patterns in it. They're all beautiful Colette style. This is a kind of weird picture with her looking down like that. But let's see. I'll show you the one. One time I was looking at this book, and my middle son, who is 24 right now, I think, walked by me, and he said, "That is a beautiful woman." And this woman, it kind of cracked me up. She is a beautiful woman. But my son's girlfriend, of like 7 years these kids have been together, is a Filipino girl. And so, where is that dress? All right, let me just find it. Oh, there she is. So, of course, he thinks all of that beautiful brown skin and black hair and brown eyes is, appealing to him, because the woman he loves is Filipino. And that is a beautiful dress and a beautiful woman. It's got this little flowy thing here, but what it tells you about in the details of this dress is that you could use a more structured fabric there if you wanted. This is a cool dress because you could make, the basic shift part of it out of something like a wool tweed or whatever, and then put like this silk chiffon over the top of it, just for kind of a cool juxtaposition. But this is a lovely book. It has the patterns in the back. I have not made anything from it. I have intended to make something from it. I love this little skirt that is in the front. Absolutely love it. It has not curved, what do you call it? Scalloped. Wow. A scalloped bottom, and it's just adorable. I love that pencil skirt. I've always meant to make that. So this book is gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. I love it. I'm glad I have it. This was the very first sewing book that I ever bought. And I was like, I think I heard angels singing when I got that. And I love Colette's aesthetic, so we're kind of simpatico. But what is this? What are the sizes? Can I fit into them? For the Colette, it is bust 46, waist 38, hips 48. That's from that book. Colette's sizing right now is much bigger than this. They are a very inclusive pattern company. And so you can, I mean, if you go visit the Colette and Seamwork patterns, those are very Curvy Girl friendly. I don't know what size they go up to, but I definitely know that I fit in there. And I am bust 43, waist 40, hips 50. Maybe a hair smaller than that since the last time I measured, but maybe not. I ate Arby's today. That's all I've eaten, so I might be bigger than that. Who knows? So that one is bigger than the other ones that I told you about. Now, one that I accidentally skipped are Sew Over It's ebooks. Now, I've only written down the original Sew Over It ebooks measurements, but I'm relatively certain that the new weekend one, which I also have, and I've never made anything from either of them, I have actually printed out, I sent off to PDF Plotting the entire new Work to Weekend book. And so I have that still in the box. I haven't even taken it out of the box yet. But I never did get the first one printed. I think I liked the styles in the first one a little bit better. But the measurements for both of those Sew Over It ebooks, which I love Lisa's aesthetic. I just love it. It's a nod to vintage. It's a little bit Parisian. I love her stuff. But here's her measurements for those ebooks in case you were thinking about picking one up. The bust is 45, the waist is 38, and the hips are 48. So that's just 1 inch smaller in the bust than Colette's book. Okay. Now, as far as I know, for Sew Over It, their largest size still is a UK size 20, which I believe is a US 18 or maybe even a 16. I don't remember. But yeah, it's a UK size 20 is her largest size. So that's that one. So the next one I have, these are the big three are the Tilly books, that Colette book, and it's older. And then the Gertie books, and she has a new book coming out. This is the only one of her books I have. I love her other books, but I do not need a bunch of 50s dresses. So, I mean, it's a little too much. I love them, but I could not parade around looking like Tilly. First of all, I don't have a single tattoo. So I'm not even 1% as cool as she is. So I can't do it. But this book appealed to me because this is more casual. This is full of separates and dresses, and everything in here is really kind of doable for the modern person. Like, look how cute that is. There's lots of cute stuff in here. And Gertie is really good at teaching. She does an excellent job of teaching. She's got some little pants in there. Lots of stuff in this book. That's a cute picture of her. The first project in here is a 40s style blouse, which I think is super cute. And then what she does is she shows you the original pattern, and then she gives you some hacks for it. So and this model is gorgeous. She made it into a sleeveless, and she made it longer. So those are the changes she made for that blouse. So it shows you how to do that. And then she turns it into a little kind of a bombery style kind of jacket. And she talks to you about how to do that. See right here? Teaches you how to manipulate your patterns to get these new things. That's one of the reasons why I love these books so much. If I were to do what's the name of that movie? Julia Does Julia? That's what made Gertie famous. She did, the reason why Gertie's blog for Better Sewing, new blog for Better Sewing, the reason why she made it big was because she took the old Vogue sewing book and went through project by project and made them. And that's how she got her start, because it was such a great concept. And she's a great personality, and she just made it. It was everything just aligned at the right time, which is fantastic. I'm so happy for her. But if you were to do that with one of these books, go through and do everything in the book, you really would be 2 or 3 steps above wherever you started. Any of these books. So you don't have to be a curvy girl, and you don't have to be, a complete beginner. I think that going through all these will increase your skills. Of course, anytime you sew, you're increasing your skills. So Gertie's book is 46 bust, 38 waist, and 50 hips. So that's pretty good. Waists are always pretty easy to grade out. So this Gertie's book, the measurements in these patterns, and her patterns are in an envelope in the back. Like that. The measurements in here are bigger than the other books that I showed you. And there, I believe, there are 36 different things to make in this book. I'm not 100% on that, but that's what I'm thinking off the top of my head, because I'm weird and I went through and counted them one time. And that's what I'm remembering. It may not be right. Okay. This is my newest book. This is called So Many Dresses, So Little Time, The Ultimate Dressmaking Guide by Tanya Whelan. This is interchangeable patterns to create 200 plus unique dresses. Now, I bought this at Joann's, so I paid a lot for it. US price is $29.99, and I think I had a 30% off coupon. So, I paid $20 for this, or yeah, $20, $21 or whatever for it. And I almost took it back. I like it. It's got cute dresses throughout it. It's pretty. I don't know why I almost took it back. There's gorgeous stuff in there. And she goes through and teaches you how to do all of it, how to change everything. There's like pages of pattern manipulation in there. Tells you how to put a waistband on any skirt from any dress bodice. It's full of beautiful little dresses. And I think maybe the reason why I finally didn't take it back is that I thought if I would work my way through here, that it would really increase my sewing skills. One thing I don't like about it, I don't like this. I think if they were going to spend the money to take a bunch of pictures, that each picture should be new. Like, look, there's a gorgeous picture, gorgeous model, gorgeous dress. Who doesn't love a white eyelet dress? Or whatever that is. And here it is on the next page. Why? Why would you waste that? I mean, that's a color page. You could have put another dress on there. And it's like that way throughout the whole book. Gorgeous dress. same gorgeous dress. And so that's one of my main complaints. With over 200 plus unique dresses, and I know that they can't make 100 dresses or whatever. I know that that takes time and money. I get that. But it's just so repeated throughout the book. I was like, wow, it seems like you could have, you know, changed it up a little bit. But I decided to keep it, and I have been reading through it, and it really gives you some details. What I'm looking at here, this is about shifting darts to the armholes, shifting darts to the side seams. A whole 4 pages on shifting darts. So this is a very useful book. And that is why I decided not to take it back. And it tells you how to make all these modifications. And the patterns are back here in this envelope. I don't remember if they're nested or whatever. But what are the sizes in here? 50.5-inch bust. That is by far the biggest of all these dress books. Okay. 42.5 waist. So a 50.5-inch bust, that is 4.5 inches bigger than the next biggest book, which would be Colette's book for bust. The waist is 36.5. No, the waist is 42.5. That is by far the biggest. I think the biggest waist on the other books was 38. That's 4.5 inches bigger than the next biggest book. And then the hips, 52.5. Again, that's 4.5 inches. The next biggest, nope, Gertie's book is 50 for hips. Oh, and Magic Pattern is 51.5. Okay, so 52.5. So this book beats the bust and waist measurements by 4.5 inches over every book that I've shown you. And it beats the hip measurements by all of them by like 4.5 inches, except for Gertie, except for Magic Pattern, which it only beats by 1.5 or whatever. So if you're a curvy girl and you want to buy a book and you're interested in dressmaking and you don't need pants or whatever, this might be the one you need to pick up. You will have to do the least amount of grading, and there's a jillion bodices in here, a jillion skirts, a jillion sleeves, and a whole chapter on collars as well. So let me tell you what the chapters are. The chapters are sewing essentials, so they go through all how to sew. Okay, it's all in there. And then a whole chapter on bodices. And that chapter is 56 pages long for bodices. A whole chapter on necklines and collars, and that chapter is 21 pages long. A whole chapter on sleeves, which is not very long, 8 pages long. A whole chapter on skirts, which is 33 pages long. And in there, she shows you how to do waistbands to any skirt for any dress pattern that you have. And then she has an entire chapter, chapter 6, on fittings and alterations. Large bust, small bust, all of that is in here. And so it has basic pattern alterations, torso length adjustments, bust adjustments, neck adjustments, shoulder adjustments, sleeve adjustments, skirt adjustments. I'm losing my voice. Went out with a bunch of my friends last night, and we laughed and laughed and laughed and laughed, and then hung out with a friend all morning this morning, and we talked and talked and talked and talked. And now I'm chatting at you, and I know this video is going to be outrageously long, but I wanted to share that with you. So I hope that you are having a fantastic day. Let me know what you think about Free Pattern Friday. And if you want me to continue doing it, I will continue. I will find a way to make that work. Maybe I'll do it every other week or something, so I don't completely get totally burned out on it and dread making videos at all. Anyway, it's practically dark outside now. You guys have a fantastic day. Talk to you next time. Oh, I didn't even tell you what I'm wearing because I don't know what it is. I made it. It was a vintage pattern. The top is a little bit too big. This is where the shoulder seams are. This was one of the first things I made, and I learned from this dress. It had, it's like a 6-score skirt and a fluted 6-score skirt, and it was really long. I think the pattern was from the 90s. And so I wanted to take about 5 inches off the bottom. And so this was before I knew that you had to use the lengthen and shorten lines, which on this dress would have been up at about the waist level. And so I just cut it off the bottom, and this skirt is so weird. It kind of goes down like this and then boop. But I love this fabric. It's really comfortable. It's vintage, and I don't regret making it. It's just the skirt is a little bit weird. If another seamstress saw me, they would be like, there's something the matter with that skirt. And they would be right. But anyway, talk to you later. Bye. Troy's not here, so I have to get up and turn this off myself.